Here's the big question.
How are agents like us,
who didn't get an opportunity to invest in a franchise early,
who are spending time and money to sell homes,
building someone else's saleable asset?
How do we grow a business but still build wealth?
Have an exit strategy,
and get a piece of the pie that's not dependent
on us working more hours and every weekend?
That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer.
My name is Jay Kinder.
My name is Al Stasek.
Good morning.
And I'm Michael Reese. We are your hosts, and welcome to the One Big Fire Podcast.
Read live.
All right, fellas, how y'all doing?
Amazing.
Doing great.
How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing good, man. I'm so glad that you were jumping on this today, man. You've had me excited, you and Woods, all week with all the great stuff we're working on. Man, we want to chat with you about, kind of the last couple years, man. You have an amazing story. I know you've done a lot of great things, and probably one of the fastest people that I know to building their business to 100 deals. And so, man, we just wanted to bring you on to the podcast, chat about your business, what you're excited about, and, hopefully, get some people out there in real estate to think a little bit differently about how people like you are actually executing. So anyway.
Well, absolutely. Where would you like me to start?
Well, why don't you start with, tell us a little bit about your market, how you got into real estate.
Do you want the short version or the long version or the in between?
I like you pick.
It's crazy. I've always had a passion for real estate, and basically right when I was in college back in '99, I was walking the campus, and at that time I decided, you know what, I want to buy a rental property, but then I didn't know how to come up with the cash, and I created a marketing company while going to college, and I started to do really well with sales with that, and I started to buy rental properties right next to the university. I had about a dozen rental properties, 32 units by year 2002, and was doing pretty well with that. Moved from Utah State down to Salt Lake, decided to play with the bigger players. And but that time I didn't have any licensing of any sort. I did dabble in appraisal school, but I realized it wasn't for me. And then I got into private money lending, did really well with it. Then the Great Recession came. I had to hit the reset button. When that happened. And then I decided to open up a home and auto insurance agency while trying to figure out how to get back into real estate. And when come right around 2014, I realized that my home and auto insurance agency was not going to help me establish my dreams. It was not going to help me rebuild my real estate portfolio like I had while I went to college at Utah State. And at that time, I developed a carpal tunnel in both of my fingers and wrists, and I had an agency of about 10 agents, but then with the unemployment rate, it dropped down to about 3%. I was left with one agent and one office manager, and I had 2 carpal tunnel surgeries. I had a mouse on the left hand, a mouse on the right hand, a right foot pedal. I was clearing, 6 figures, but I wanted to get to 7 figures. I knew that mentally I could get to 7 figures because I've been there before, but then I just kind of hit a wall, and I said, you know what? I need to get back into real estate, and you know what? Why not be a marketer? Why not be the market maker? And have no risk or little risk. And so that's when I got my real estate license. I just started off by representing my first transaction being my own personal home, so I can get my own 3% commission back. I got a good taste of it. And I said, you know what if I was to create a system like I did with my home and auto insurance agency, and I put that on autopilot, went over to my office manager and my agent, and I said, hey, why don't you guys just take over? It's not for me. I like it. I'll keep it. I'll be there for you, but it's yours. It's on autopilot. but then so I decided to create what that did is it helped me create systems. I'm a big into systems. And so I went into real estate, and I just had the same mind frame of, you know what, I'll just fail forward. And for my first transaction, my outside
when did you get in real estate? What year?
It was fall of 2016. I did my first transaction outside of myself and my brother-in-law. And what I did was I was listening to a podcast on this webinar it was called Mastermind Agents, and this individual would interview all the top players in the nation, and these people were millionaires and billionaires. And I said, you know what, if I'm going to be one, I got to listen to one and see what they're doing. I found one that had a really good strategy and idea. And he said, just go buy $2,500 in real estate signs and borrow a listing from a fellow agent in your brokerage and do an open house. So I put up 40 signs. It took me 2 hours. And so I hear some weird noise in the background, but
no, you're fine.
Okay. And so I put up 40 signs in my first open house. I borrowed from a fellow agent in the brokerage, and I had huge success. I had about 25 people show up. And the reason they showed up is they said, I've never seen so much marketing done for an open house before. And it was like, and in a mile in every direction of this house, you could see there's an open house. And I brought in all the traffic from that area. And there was a guy that walked in the door and says, hey, I have this 10-year-old agent that's actually can't sell my house. And I'm like, you know what? It looks like you know what you're doing. And it looks like you're aggressive. You know how to market. And I'm going to fire him tomorrow on Sunday. You come over on Monday and sell my house. And that was the first listing that I really got. And it was a $410,000 home. I can't believe it. This other agent, supposedly has 10 years experience, and all he did was slap him on the MLS with some photos off his phone and thought he was marketing the property. And I went in there, brought over my handyman, and had him clean up the house, get rid of the bird's nest in the front porch, put up a rail on the front porch, and I had them move the elliptical machine out of the middle of the living room, put it downstairs in the basement, and have my cleaning ladies just come over, tidy up this guy's bachelor's pad. And I had a professional photographer come over and put it home on the market. And I put it up on the market for the same price as he had it listed. And I had 4 offers on it in 24 hours. And that gave me my first commission check of about $12,000.
Nice.
And from there, I decided to reinvest it in marketing. And so I invested it in Facebook marketing to generate listings, and was doing really well during the 2017, 18 with that. And then it was middle of, I believe, was it Woods? Was it? Man, time flies by quick. I think it was 18. It was middle of 18. I got an email that said, try to help first-time home buyers with down payment assistance. And so, so Woods organization sent me an email. I'm one of these guys who tries all the marketing buckets. I always.
And why is that? Why? I mean, because one of the things is I want to talk about your mistakes and really get to some of the main takeaways for the listener, kind of being an advocate for them. So why do you, because obviously you're doing so well right now. We ain't even got to the tip of the iceberg. Like, I'm not trying to jump the cart here, but why were you willing to just try marketing? Some agents, they're scared to try stuff.
It's part of my methodology of failing forward. I believe that you're always learning and growing, or you're dying. So I and the market's always changing. You got to change with the market. We live in some fast times, and with technology, and I always know there's always a better, more efficient way of doing something. And I know that there's a lot to be gleaned and learned from other professionals. I'm not one to ever say that I know all the answers, but I always believe I can find the answers, and I can align myself with professionals and people that are better, smarter than myself that can help me with those solutions to what I'm looking for. And I felt like Wood's operation was able to assist with that. I was a kind of I know I was gambling at first, but I decided to put $5,000 into marketing. Well, usually when I do marketing, I do it at about a $5,000 clip when I'm doing my R&D, because I need a good sample base. I don't do it at $500 because I can't really gauge on, well, was it me? Was it the market? Was it the material? I need a lot of data, and then I figure out what's working within that data, and then I just magnify the success from that. And
so let me point one thing out. So, one of the things that we've always said is find the people that got the results that you want. So a lot of people need to understand from what I'm hearing is you're a seeker, right? You were seeking out solutions to problems. And the great thing about it is you were doing revenue generating activities. So it's not like you were out there, but what you went from doing open houses, massive open houses that are a little bit less leverage because they take time, to getting more leverage going online and partnering with us. And I think you were on our original, we partnered at a higher level. One of the things when I laid out the description is, how you're now partnering on a nationwide scale. But Woods, tell me about the partnership on how y'all first connected.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you guys maybe, and you can kind of chime in, Stephen. Basically, I guess, first of all, I reached out to Stephen because, Stephen is he's an action taker and he knows how to scale.
Well, I'm saying I'm talking about the first partnership when he partnered at NAEA, the very first relationship.
Well, I'll let Steve kind of tell that story.
Okay.
Right.
How'd you meet me?
How did I find you?
Yeah.
I think you were just sending out emails to every agent in the country, and you were looking to develop a market in Utah. And there was a gal on the other line saying, how many zip codes do you want to buy down payment assistance leads? And I think she was kind of caught off guard when I said, I want all of them. I want all of the entire market. And Woods had built what happened was at NAEA, we were doing down payment assistant leads and building a referral model. And I think this is important for people to understand because our model changed as we went. But at one point, I think it was in December, Woods, of like 15 or 16, we had brought on almost 350 referral partners, no different than Dave Ramsey. We had built we had built a consumer-faced brand. And the reason, Steve, we reached out to you is because you were probably the poster child of 1,000 people that went through that program. We just talked to a lady yesterday, Lily, out of Atlanta, Georgia, or Florida. She was one of the other top partners, but you by far exceeded everybody. I mean, you took it to a whole nother level. And so, and obviously I want to get to how we partnered today, but you had an interesting mindset when it came to, jumping out there, especially when you said, let's get all the zip codes.
Well, what I noticed about Stephen is, listen, the reason why we build funnels and like when we partner with people now, we help people get like funnels and focus on a niche and get a predictable way to generate clients every single month. So it's a system. Stephen understood that going in, and the thing that I liked about Stephen is that the way that we work and the way that we grow any business, and one of the reasons why it's easy for us to double a business, and shameless plug, by the way, if you want to see how to double your business, you can go to doubleyourbusinesslive.com and see all the stuff that we're doing. But it always comes down to the math. When you get a funnel up that's proven and predictable, then it all comes down to the math and being able to scale your business. And so the thing I loved about Steven is Steven had, whenever you're like trying to start marketing and you're trying to get a predictable customer acquisition funnel up for your business, you got to establish a testing budget. And then you have an unlimited budget for things that work, right? And one thing I noticed about Steven really early on is you tested it, right? You got the data that you needed to know, man, I can scale this. And now, you know, you're doing over 100 transactions a year, really primarily from one funnel, fully executed, not doing 10 million different things, just one, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, in the beginning stages of this funnel, I only had like one down payment assistance program to offer my clients. And so I would just listen to the marketplace and go, wait a second here. I just lost out to another down payment assistance option with this other bank or credit union or lender. And then I would contact that bank, credit union, or lender, and then I'd add them to my assortment of options for my clients to choose from until this day. Now I have a dozen different options and I have all the best options. And before, you know, my closing ratio may have been only like 1 in 10. Now it's 1 in 3. And so I've just learned, you know, now, and all I did was perfect the funnel. I knew that there was success in it and I knew it would get better. I knew it was a niche that I could get rich. And and that's what I was looking for, is just something where I could just plug in, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat to the point. You know, I actually have a record July here. I mean, we went through COVID and I didn't miss a beat. And from all of the efforts, I just kept my marketing all the way through COVID, because I know when other people pull back, you need to market more and take more market share. And that actually helped out to where I'll have a record July for closings. On my books right now, I have right at 20 closings that happened from the efforts in the last 30 days. Now, I counted 6 of those are new construction that will close between September and February, but I wrote up 20 contracts in June that will actually consummate in 14 in July, but other 6 will come in as the construction is completed. But it was just finding that funnel. Now that I have that funnel and I perfected it, it's allowed me to grow other aspects of real estate that Michael and Woods and my partners are growing that I didn't have time to grow before.
I think you're muted, Michael.
Steve, so the brokerage that you used to be at, were y'all the largest brokerage in your state?
I was with Realty Path in Utah. It's a Utah-based company, and I was the biggest. Actually, I was the #1 agent there last 3 years in a row. My first year, I was the Rookie of the Year and the top producer of the year. And Realty Path is the second biggest broker in the state of Utah.
Gotcha. Maybe I might need to edit. I thought they were the largest, but you recently left them.
Well, they're pretty darn close. The first one has like 1,300 agents. Realty Path has 1,100 agents.
Gotcha.
Realty Path broke off of Equity. It was another partner of that company.
So what made you? So for a lot of people, you know, and I want to. You said 2 different things. You established. You said I wanted to get rich in that niche. So you focused on the first-time home buyer, the affordability angle that Woods had been promoting and running nationwide. But you recently, are you running the new construction funnel too?
You know, I actually just joined the course yesterday, and I am adding that Facebook pixel to my website, utahdownpayment.org. And we're going to actually make it a great addition because the market is shifting into new construction with the lower inventory. But so actually, I think we're going to kind of make it as part of the benefits in that new construction funnel, where a lot of people think they have to have money to get into new construction. I'm going to let people know we can get them 100% financing for new construction, along with up to additional $20,000 in builder incentives. So, yep. So
you're gonna be rotating and stacking those offers.
that's the plan here.
Nice. And so, recently you decided to, put your fire with our fire, make one big fire, and you partnered with us over at the EXP platform. And I saw your text. You iconed last year for people that, which congratulations, by the way.
Well, thank you. It's actually been fun.
Tell me why, when you first heard about the EXP opportunity, what made you, because to be honest with you, you are a math guy, and honestly, you saw it probably as quick as anybody. What made you be willing to leave the brokerage where you're the number one person and jump over into this virtual brokerage opportunity? What made you so open to that?
It's interesting is that both of you called me end of last October, and after being the number one agent for 3 years in a row, I knew that there was more opportunity in the marketplace. I just kind of felt like I hit the ceiling, and I'm like, there has to be more. Where is that opportunity at? And because, I felt like I was at the top of that broker, and I was kind of alone. I was like, well, there's a few other guys they're behind me, but their production's half of mine. But I'm like, I want to be amongst those people that have twice or three times my production, so I can learn from them and grow even further. And when you gave me a call, it actually, I could just tell that it was exactly what I was looking for. It was kind of interesting. I had this phone call from my Realty Path broker a few months prior, and he actually got after me for not physically showing up to the title company at closing for one of my buyers. And I'm like, this is 2019. This is like, don't we live in like tech, in a tech world? I'm like, and so I got him to agree that I could call in to my closings. I didn't have to physically be there, because that's 1 hour of wasted time just sitting there with the buyer, ultimately just asking, okay, how do I get my keys, and when can I get in the house? Well, I can, I just skip that step, and I just, as soon as it funds records, I meet them right at the house and let them in. There's no reason for me to shout the title company. And whereas EXP is like, why waste that time? You could, that's, and my time's worth, I did the math, my time is worth $500 an hour. I got to be doing something that's worth $500 an hour or more. And during that time, I could have actually introduced somebody to, I could have showed them a home and wrote them up a contract.
Gotcha. So you saw the, well, one of the things that when you came over, what was your biggest what thing were you skeptical about that maybe, what was maybe your biggest hang up that maybe you would have kept you for coming? And what I'm looking for here is, everyone always is like, that, for me, it was, it didn't seem, some things just didn't seem true. I was like, this seems too good to be true. But, to be honest, when I came over, it worked out just like I thought it was going to. Did you have anything like that?
I did. What's interesting is that there was another good agent friend of mine at Realty Path who actually called me many months before and said, hey, Steve, you got to consider EXP. Well, I'm like, are you a member? No. Why not? And he's going to, I think, gave me some lame excuses. And I'm like, I really like this guy. He's like a good friend and all, but I can always tell that he would never be a big producer. Like he was a small producer with, he always wanted to be a big producer, but I think he always talks himself out of why he can't be a big producer. And so I'm like, so I kind of just like heard him out, said, sounds interesting. Cool. Hope it works out for you. And I just kind of left it at that. But then as soon as, Woods and, Michael, you called me, which I have great respect for you. I'm like, well, hey, if somebody of their caliber is doing this and they are who I want to be, why or am I not a part of this? And so I did have some questions, but I had faith as well. And with our trust, I knew that I couldn't go wrong. And then I also did the math. I'm like, well, hey, I'm with my other broker, Realty Path, and I cap out after 7 transactions. And but they take out $700 a transaction, plus they charge me insurance on every deal, and plus if my commission checks are over 12 grand, they're going to hit me up for excessive commission insurance, so another couple $100 on top of that, plus an accounting transaction. I'm like, is there really a cap? Because home prices are going up. The average home price is $400,000, not $200,000. And so I did the math. I'm like, well, I'm giving this broker $24,000 a year out of my 100 transactions. And I'm like, well, wait a second here. EXP will actually, let me, as soon as I hit Icon, they'll give me $8,000 in stock. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that in the first month or two. No big deal. Oh, then plus they'll give me another $4,000 for teaching 1-hour classes each month for 6 months to teach people how I make 7 figures a year. I don't mind teaching other people, some of my plays. I believe in the law of abundance, and I also know that you could be, the Patriots and give your playbook to the, I don't know who's the worst team right now. Detroit Lions. I mean, Cleveland Browns, but it doesn't mean the Cleveland Browns are going to, win the Super Bowl. I mean, it takes somebody who's willing, able to develop their skill sets, who want to be a part of a team that'll help them improve those skill sets, and that's what EXP is about. And then I looked online, and there's 60 hours of education every week that's taught by the top 5% of all agents. And I'm like, wow, I mean, there's so much to glean and learn from everyone. This is how I'm going to do it. And so I didn't know exactly how I was going to get my $16,000 of free stock, but now I've got it. I know how, and it's easy to repeat and redo. And the reality here is the way.
Unpack that for a second. So did you get it your first year?
Yeah.
So you got it as first 2 months.
Got it my first 2 months.
So you earned how much in stock at EXP?
I got, as soon as I hit my cap, and I actually got, it's a $16,000 cap, where as soon as I 80-20 split, as soon as EXP gets $16,000 of their 20% split, then I get $8,000 in EXP stock. Well, actually, I picked that stock up.
When you did it when you became Icon, right?
When I did Icon.
So you capped, and then you sold 20 more units.
Right. And then I actually I sold 20 more units with a $250 transaction fee associated with each one of those. And then so, I was in it, 16,000 to EXP, 5,000 with them for that. But now it's down to $100 a transaction. They picked up, 21,000, but I picked up $8,000 in stock. It actually doubled in value since in this short period of time. I got it at $8 and 11 cents a share. Now today it was trading $16.50 a share, and it's doubled in. What is it?
1661.
1661. Yeah. And what's interesting is that it's been great. And so now I've got $16,000, and my $8,000 turned into 16 grand. And plus, though, I've also am picking up another $4,000 for teaching classes, and another $4,000 for just attending some annual summits. in stockholder share meetings. So I'll pick up my other 8,000 here in the next 6-7 months during my icon year, but I'll pick up $16,000 of free stock that's growing and seems like it's doubling every year or so. And that's growing. What's also excited me is that out of each one of my paychecks, I contribute 5% of my commissions towards buying their stock at a discount, at 10% discount. And that's also grown as well in my account. And so right now, today, I have $35,000 of stock sitting in my account. And I know. And what's interesting is I've only given I've done the math. EXP is paying me to work for them or be a partner with them.
Well, you're helping grow the company. I mean, you've done a great job. And so that's what makes it a beautiful model. You're contributing back to the other agents, which is contribution in the old business model of those other 800 agents. You had no reason to share and help. So like you said, you have that abundance mindset. The Patriots metaphor is you're giving back to the community. Someone in Atlanta, Georgia, Portland, Oregon might learn from you or the next icon. So you have these successful people sharing what's working now, and you're being rewarded for it because you're incentivized to do it.
And it was kind of fun when I taught my first class a couple of weeks ago. I had 27 participants, and this gentleman out of California was like, "Wow, Steve, are you serious?" I showed him my, my commission, checks that I'm getting for July. I showed on the screen. He's like, dropping. Everyone in the whole class was like, "Oh my goodness, are you serious? Wow, I had no idea. This is intense. I had no idea what I was showing up for. This is more knowledge, more experience than I ever signed up for." And the guy in California is like, "Steve, I'm doing this in California." I said, "Your market's going to be bigger than my market. I'm doing this in Utah. Okay, we only have 3 million people here, and and I'm actually the #1 consultant for down payment assistance for the entire state of Utah. All the other banks and credit unions are trailing me on Google. I mean, Lending Tree doesn't even, barely hits the map. Quicken, Rocket Mortgage barely hits the map. Some of the credit unions barely hit the map. And, I'm just like, soaring as the #1 consultant with my systems for helping these first-time home buyers. But I love doing it. I love helping other people. Can't wait to teach my next 1-hour class next month and help some more individuals. I told the guy in California, I mean, he's so big that, he could grow this very big. There's 30 million plus people there. He doesn't even have to show the homes like I do. He could pay someone $50 a door just to open up doors and sit home and write up contracts and make more money than I'm making right now. And so, but
how do people get a hold of you that are watching this that might be like, "Hey, I wanna learn from you, man"?
It's pretty simple. You can email me. My email is stevenostler@gmail.com. StephenOstler@gmail.com. You can text me 801-949-8949. That's my cell number. I'd say call me. You can try to call me. I'm just like always on the phone. And so I do. So I'd love to chat with you. I'd love to talk to you. But if I'm not available by phone, send me a text. I'm really prompt when it comes to responding to text and emails. There was a gentleman in that class of mine.
Can you say that one more time?
801-949-8949. And there was a member of EXP that was contacting me through the work group, and that's my number right there on the screen. And I had a gentleman coming through the work group, and he was just like asking me a lot of questions like regarding credit with first-time home buyers, and he didn't know a lot of the ingredients behind, or the recipe behind building someone's credit rapidly. And I taught him how to take somebody from a 500 to a 745 days credit score, and I showed him. He's like, "Wow!" And loan officers don't even know this. Real estate agents don't know this. I said, "Yeah, that's why I do so darn well, is because I take, I cover this niche where realtors, loan officers don't cover, and I kind of blend it into one." and I do really well with it. Loan officers just want the easy deals, like, oh, you don't have a 680 score, okay, but don't want, just call me when your score gets there. They don't really educate their clients on, well, hey, these are the steps to get there in 45 days. So those people end up, calling me on my website, and once go, oh, Steve, I had no idea you can turn my credit around so quick. The last loan officer, told me to just call him in 12 months after my score goes up, and the last agent stopped returning my phone calls because they thought they could never, get me into a home. But Steve, all of a sudden you gave me a plan where I can start shopping for a home in 45 days and close in 30, and I'll be in my home in the next 2.5, 3 months. Steve, I'm so excited. You actually are going to make my dreams come true. And so actually, when I hear that, that's what gets me excited, and is when I help people. I get really excited when people are able to achieve their family dreams. Their kids are happy, their spouses are happy, they're not renting, they're getting into a home for as little or the same as what they're paying to rent. They're building up equity and net worth. And then I even show those first-time home buyers how they can turn their first home into a rental and pick up their second home with very little to no money out of their pockets, so that they're growing their homes at $25,000 of equity per year. If you own 2 of those, it's 50 grand a year. If you own 4 of those, it's 100 grand a year. And all of a sudden their light bulbs go off, whoa, wait a second, Steve. I said, yeah, that's how you accumulate wealth in real estate. And every time I get a commission check, I just go buy another rental. And right now I got 15 rentals. My goal is to have 20 rentals here by the end of the year. My rents on those are $2,500 a rental. And so by the end of the year, I should have 20 rentals at $2,500. I should be right at my goals, be at $50,000 of gross rents per month on my rentals. And then plus, my EXP commissions, plus one partnering up with, what's that?
That's amazing, man.
That is amazing. And then I add in my stock compensation as well. My goal is to to buy $5,000 of discounted EXP stock per month. And so that's I can have at least 60,000 at a discounted basis grow into 120,000 after 12 months. So that's my third revenue stream. My fourth revenue stream is just partnering up with EXP and helping and teaching and other people who become a part of us how they can also make the same or more money as each one of us make here. And so what's interesting is just with our systems in place and with the way that the technology is that you guys have developed, both you and I commend you for that. Honestly, it's I'm really excited, Woods and Michael, for that the technologies and the systems you put into place so that we can grow our team. Our team's going to be amazing. It's going to be big. There's going to be some people that are to join. They'll be bigger than us, and they'll probably be people that started off just like myself with 0 transactions. They can get up to 100 transactions. If they believe it. And they are willing to learn it, they can achieve it, and so I know that wholeheartedly. And there was an agent that 2 weeks ago I met. He's a brand new agent, and he was inspecting this home for a client of mine that my client was finishing up buying a home with a local builder here, Flagship Homes. And the inspector said, Steve, I'm done being an inspector. I'm working my real estate license right now. I said, where are you going to go? He goes, well, I'm going to go to Keller Williams. I go, why are you choosing Keller Williams? And he says, well, because I don't know anything. And that's where my friend went. And, he did so many transactions there. I said, well, do you realize when you go to Keller Williams, if you're sitting in that office, the ones you want to learn from are not in the office. They're out in the field. And I'm like, he's like, oh, I never thought about that.
Amen.
Yeah. And says, no, that you'll be in the office with a principal broker. But why do you think the principal broker is a principal broker? Is because he doesn't know how to do deals or doesn't want to do the deals. And so you can only learn so much from there. It says, do you know what classes they're teaching? No. Do you know how many free education courses they offer? No. Do you know what your niche is going to be to get you that wealth that you believe in? And no. I said, here, let me pull up my phone. I pulled up my phone. I said, do you want to see what EXP University is teaching this week? I pulled up my phone, showed them all the courses and the classes. And I go, look at this class right here. Do you know that, look, you can actually make $1 million a year in affinity marketing? That means you just go into corporations and teach people how to not use their 401k that the employer is contributing towards, and how they can get 100% financing, by working with you. And it's like, no, actually, I don't even know anything about that type of financing. Keller Williams never mentioned anything. So they'll never mention anything like that to you. So what's your credit score? It's this. Well, how are you going to get it to that? Well, I don't know. Is Keller Williams going to teach you that? No. I said, that's what I mean. I said, look at this other course here. See this other niche. I mean, if you live in a next to an Indian reservation right here, they're teaching you how to make a lot of money working with Indians and getting them grants. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying is this, there's so many niches. I mean, honestly, if I ever got to a point where, one niche stopped working, I can just jump online with you guys and work on your next funnel. And I know you guys have countless funnels, and I can jump into the university and plug those into funnels. I'm surrounded by so much opportunity that I just have to pick the ones that I love and enjoy the most, because they'll all make money.
That's awesome, man. And I love the fact that that you're able to share that with other people. I mean, how confident are you in your ability to to help other people, even brand new agents or people that don't know what they don't know coming on board that might be interested in partnering with us? How confident are you in helping them get the training they need, get the funnels they need, get the systems they need to be able to generate clients and really be successful?
Very.
Yes.
Oh, very. I have a system in place and the backing of the EXP platform in place to facilitate that. So even though it seems daunting, it's actually not as daunting as it seems, just because of the technologies and systems and the teamwork we have.
Awesome.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'm excited to be working with you. I know for sure you remind me of a lot of all successful people, because you're just the best student and you're an executor, man. It seems like, and one of the things is, it sounds like, is you're doing a handful of things 1,000 times better. You're not all over the place. You got your little system, you're following it, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And man, it's I'm super excited about that and the future, and doing this a year from now when you come back and you say, man, let me tell you, because I've seen people, if imagine where would you be if you would have joined EXP 4 years ago when the stock was at $1 or $3, right?
Right. I so wish, I wish you would have called me sooner. I know you're surrounded with so many wonderful people, but that was my only regret, is that I didn't hear about the full EXP opportunity sooner, because I would have made the change sooner. Because when I recognize opportunity, I've learned to make good, quick decisions when the opportunity shows up, because I also understand opportunity lost, but it's also good. I think it's good timing now as well. But I know if I would have waited any longer, I probably wouldn't have benefited as much, but I'll benefit just a lot moving forward. But the reality is our corporation or company is growing so quick, so fast that there still feels like we're on
global.
What's that? Global. Yeah, we're global. Right. And so
opening up 5 more countries by the end of the year, it's just unbelievable, man. And you can go anywhere, man. So I'm excited to see where you take this.
Oh, I'm excited here. What are we at? 30,000 agents, maybe 30,000 agents. And, how many agents are there in America? 1.5 million. I mean, so there's still a lot of growth here. It's fascinating. I'm majored in finance and economics at Utah State. I don't know if you guys know that about me. I'm a big finance econ guy. And I was looking on my Investors Business Daily account to kind of check on the status of how EXP can compare to its its peers, and it actually ranked number one amongst its peers in its category at a 99 composite rating out of 100, and it was other companies that were behind it, so like Redfin and others that were behind it. And so I'm like, wow, if the investor community, is eyeing EXP like this, then I need to, that's actually when I actually decided to, what, I need to put both feet on this pedal here, not just one. I got to put both feet on it, and so I can, ride all the upside growth that's ahead of us.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you guys. And, hey, listen, you got to do your own due diligence. This is a disclaimer. We are not giving you stock advice. We're just sharing our personal experience. And
no, I'm not giving any stock advice whatsoever.
But if you do want to reach out to Steven, you can text him at 801-949-8949, or you can send him an email. It's just his first and last name at gmail.com. Any parting words y'all gentlemen want to add before we end this episode?
I just want to say one thing. I think Steven's a successful guy. He's going to be successful in whatever he does. I think the question that you have to ask is, when you see so many successful people coming together, we call it one big fire, all joining forces, working together, helping people grow, combining all of our systems and being able to help people. I mean, there's no secret. And I think Steven is the poster child for being, you're literally like, you're one funnel away in your business from being able to scale, predictably. And maybe even, for Steve, it was about going from 6 figures to 7 figures. And now he does 6 figures a month, and if you guys want to see what we're, the funnel that we help Steven with, and the things that we're doing right now, and how we can, you can go to Live.
Highest converting offers, the proven ways to turn strangers into clients.
What's working now?
Now.
Go check out Double Your Business Live. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people.
DoubleYourBusinessLive.com.
Yes. And there's going to be a lot of.
I think you guys really need to update the name. It needs to be like Quadruple Your Business Income Live.com, because I mean, it's not double, it's like quadruple. I mean, I'm counting. There's so many different ways to make money here. It's unreal. I mean, double, okay, if you're only putting in a half effort, double your income. But I think full effort, you're going to see quadruple.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you,
brother.
gentlemen. Well, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a happy, or great rest of the week.
I appreciate you, Michael, and I appreciate you, Woods. Honestly, I love working with you guys. You're phenomenal. I learned so much from you. I'm just a sponge, and every time I get around you, I'm like, what can I learn from you? And I appreciate you so much for willing to part that knowledge, that experience. I'm forever grateful, and I can't thank you enough. And I look forward to continue working with you, and I also continue to look forward to those new individuals that are considering coming a part of our partnership and our team here. And we're going to do tremendous things together.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. See you.
All right. Have a great day. Enjoy. Okay, bye-bye.